5G have to do with? Good evening, and we are live. This is the radio station of Omega 8 coming to you from Organic Broadcaster on Spreaker this afternoon. Thank you so much for joining me on this most needed topic. What does 5G have to do with the coronavirus? Join us in the discussion, ladies and gentlemen. You can throw your hat in the ring and your 2 cents also. We are going to be talking about what does 5G have to do with the coronavirus. Now, we've been hearing a lot of schools of thoughts, and we've been told several times basic things such as wash your hands, stay inside, make sure you're at a distance from those who you're talking to in the streets. Make sure you don't go out unless it's definitely necessary. We've been told a lot of basic things, but the origin of this virus, we have not been told about. Where did it come from? Now, we know that we said it came from the Wuhan area in China. Granted, we got that down pat, but we know that we're talking about a virus that I have been told doesn't exist. Well, the virus itself is, all of us have to understand what a virus is. It's a dead cell, and we possess that. We know that. But what does it take to activate that cell? The cell must be activated. The virus must be activated. Let's talk. Can we talk here, ladies and gentlemen? What actually really activated that dead cell? We know it didn't get up on its own and start to activate. We've been told that through the scientists and through Dr. Ali, who is a noted scientist, I'm going to quote him, that a dead cell has to be given ligand, and ligand will activate the dead cell. Now, you all know about free radicals. We talk about them all the time. We talk about things that are in the atmosphere, like radiation, things that actually can get in our bodies and poison us through radiation poison. We know that if we stand in front of a microwave too long, we're going to get some of those rays. They're going to hit us. So why wouldn't we think that we could actually obtain the 5G rays? Who's putting the 5G rays out there? And are these towers going up? These towers are being buried all over the continent. And if they are laden with 5G, they could be very poisonous to the body. Are we looking at a possibility as if we're in a war zone with these high levels of frequency of 5G being caught in the atmosphere, now caught in the internal organs of mankind? If mankind is absorbing these various different radiation, it will stand to reason that because it's not oxygen that we're taking in and hot fire, radiation fire, then it's definitely going to do some damages to the body. Now, granted, you might say, oh, but they got flu-like symptoms, their noses are running, and they are all choked up, and they're sweaty, and their temperature is high. Those are all of the symptoms of someone with the flu. But what caused those symptoms? What radiated their bodies to poison their oxygen? You know you need H2O to breathe, okay? And we know that with H2O, it will allow us to breathe in oxygen. Now, everybody's running around here saying, I can't come up 2 feet of my friends, let's stay our distance. And this is a terrible time to have to stay our distance because we need people around us. There's a lot of sick people that they indicated that were over the age of 70 who had who actually had the basic conditions such as high blood pressure, diabetes, and heart trouble and respiratory problem. Those who already had those conditions can rest assured if the virus is in them and they contracted a radiation from this 5G, it's going to ignite that virus in them, which is in all of us. We all have dead cells in us, but it has to be ignited. Now, will the 5G ignite those dead cells and cause us to have the side effect? This is what we should be talking about more of. If those towers are going up, we might want to hold back on putting up those 5G towers until we get the outcome on using high radiation dosage. We may be dying from radiation poison and calling it the flu. We don't want to mistake that. We want to make sure we understand what we're dealing with. Because this thing could come back overnight, ladies and gentlemen. Whoever unleashed this 5G on mankind know who they are. It could come back again. It's not like a virus that already exists within our being. It is something that came out of the laboratory and someone lost control of. Now, we need more sessions like this. We need to talk. Now, can we talk here? I don't want to hear any more foolishness about have you washed your hands? Are you wearing your breathing mask? Are you making sure you stay 3 feet away from people? Those are all common things that we're going to do. But if all of us have within us the actual dead cell and the virus is laying there dormant, I don't care how many times you wash your hand, that virus is there. But it has to be activated. All cells have to be activated. Who's activating these cells? And with what procedure? Is it the 5G that's activating these dead cells, causing them to go haywire in our body, giving us flu-like symptoms, when in fact it's not the flu? We've got to talk about this, ladies and gentlemen. This is a dead topic that needs to be resurrected. We have laid it to rest as if it doesn't exist. This discussion deserves to be talked about. Now, I am dead serious because a lot of people that are seniors and older than me have made their transition and they're leaving. But most of them have a number of different side effects that they're having with their medication. But I understand that the medication, the ibuprofen and all of the medicines that they're giving for pain is causing side effect, contraindication, causing the patients to die quicker. Now, I don't know what makes us think that the nurses are immune from this because they're wearing a mask. If they have a dead cell in them that happens to get activated, they too can contract this deadly disease. Now, we have to understand that we think it's going to be going away in a couple of months and then that's the end of it. It seems like we're getting ready for all-out war. It doesn't seem to be stopping anytime soon, and that we are getting ready for a real war. Because they've dispatched the soldiers, and we're just looking to see if they're going to have martial law. Who are these soldiers going out to fight? You can't put up your dukes with a virus. So who are they going out to draw their weapons on? Is it the population, the human individual? Are we overcrowded with numbers of people? Is that why there's so many dead in the street? Because we want to eliminate a certain amount so that we can have more clean air for the elite? We've got to get a grip on this thing. People are getting tired already, and they're getting fed up because all we keep doing is hearing from our president that he's given XYZ amount of dollars towards this major catastrophe. You just can't throw some money at a situation like this because there won't be any people to be able to be alive to go and spend this virus, to spend this money. But it's very important that we understand that this, all jokes are off. So whoever was playing jokes, making us think that this is funny, is not funny anymore. And we want some real answers about the scientific makeup. What was supposed to happen with the 5G? Was there a race for the Japanese to put out the 5G before anyone else? And why is everybody talking about robots? There's a big need for robots now, so we got to usher in robots. Are we going to have half man and half robots? And is this 5G an effort to beat the United States in releasing their nanotechnology? We are now in the nanotechnology, ladies and gentlemen. We have a hostile environment with looking at all of the 5G towers that are standing around us, and we look at these towers that are throughout the neighborhood. That scares me. It scares me a lot. And it should frighten you as well. Now, we've been fighting in a frenzy over all of the upper respiratory problems and those who are dying from this flu-like symptom. So what caused the flu-like symptom? Did this radiation get into the lungs of individuals and poison them with radiation poison? Is it this radiation that we're suffering from and not, in fact, the flu? Because as we look at this, if this condition is targeting seniors and only seniors that have condition, but why hasn't it targeted Africa? Why has only the symptom, only the 3 people that were diagnosed there, they came into Africa and they did not have the disease while they were there? Now, what do we know about this virus? What can we talk about for sure? We know that it hates heat. Now, what else? You scientists have got to come forward and tell us what else do we know about the makeup, the chemical makeup of this virus. I think we're causing the virus to take the blame for what G5 has done. This lowly little virus that sits dormant in all of us, each and every one of us. This virus that is laying there waiting to be activated. So if that's the case, we all have the potential of activating our viruses with free radical within our system. But what can we do to cure or to kill this virus? You must understand H2O is what it is preventing from. H2O is not being officially made in the body. What if we created artificial H2O for the body to consume? Would this stop the virus from activating and working and living? Would it? Now I'm asking those doctors out there, But we've got to bring some real news to the people. And it cannot be any more of these fairy tale stories. I'm getting a little sick and tired of turning on the radio in the morning or the TV and hearing the same thing where people talk to us as if they're talking to ignorant people. African Americans are spiritual. And a lot of times we know the answer before it's ever asked. We know where the inception of this condition came from. And Ifa has taught us that he knows all inception of disease. And he's well aware of where the disease comes from and how to cure it. We need to consult our ancestors and we need to talk to them. Now, I did talk to the ancestors. And I was told that there was a curse over this land and that the land was being cursed. If that is the reason why we have 5G running around here in these towers, burning up the cells of individual people, then we need to shut down 5G. And we need to understand what is going on. Can somebody help us? Can somebody tell us? We're big boys and girls now. We got our big britches on. You can tell us. We are hearing one story from the next every day. And it's gotten us no more farther in advance on what has caused this disease. We are going to have a real discussion real soon because people want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. And you are going to have to be there. Let me see if I can chat with anyone. No, we're not able to chat with anyone. Okay. How come I don't see anybody out there? Let's say hello to someone. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. No one's saying anything out there. This is your Omi Inca 8, and I'm broadcasting live on Spreaker on Omi's Organic Broadcaster. We are talking about the all-time topic of what 5G has to do with the coronavirus. How does it affect the coronavirus? And when did the Chinese discover that there was a problem with unleashing the 5G? Was it done simultaneously when the coronavirus was announced? Is there some parallelity of the coronavirus and of the 5G? We have to know, is there some comparison with the two of them? Is there some correlation with the two of them? Because we're talking about scientific things here today, ladies and gentlemen, and we're in our classroom inviting you to come on board to take your shot at telling me, what do you think happened? When they first unleashed the 5G, was there any side effect? Did you see more people go to the hospital? And if they did, will the Chinese come forward and tell the truth? Now, if they sporadically release this particular 5G too soon, prematurely, I wonder will they discuss it and talk about it. Now, in the meantime, you got America over here with people in and out of the hospital. Yes, because we all have the virus laying dormant in us. All it needs to do is be activated. So you're not catching anything. Someone is dropping the ball on you to activate your cells. Okay? So you didn't catch anything. You merely had a dead cell and you had it activated in order for you to have services now. But something is definitely wrong. You got too many people that are not dying that were in China. They had their treatment, they got well and went home. But yet we see these large sums of people dying. So were those the people that had pre-existing conditions already? Is that why they're dying? Well, we got to get some answers around here, and I'm sure you understand what I mean. We need answers and we need conclusions. Now, this station has been broadcasting live for the past year, and for my Facebook friends out there, I want to say hello. Make sure you share and also become a follower. Tell somebody about my show and give me those 2 thumbs up. Like and share. I do need to have the followers, and subscribe to my channel and ring the bell. It'll let you know when I'm on, because I'm not on a daily basis. Now, a little information about our banquet. Blog Talk radio station have been instructed not to have any more than 10 people on board for the gathering. And therefore, we cannot have the banquet, but we are going to have the conference, which will be on Zoom, online, so that we can bring the people on to talk to you about various different things on our topic. So if you are a keynote speaker and you do like to speak and you would like to be on our panel, please let me know, because we are gathering onto our own for April 25th to have our actual online conference under Zoom. And that will be featured by Project 2019. We will not be having the banquet. The banquet has been canceled due to the Soul Food Kitchen not being able to provide for us and the limited number of people that we can actually entertain. But we are a movement. Project 2019 is a movement, and I want you to know, only Black America can help Black America. And what a best time, the best time ever to have a movement for our Black people. Our Black people need a movement. They need to hear from someone that can speak candidly into their ears. I know I might be off the cuff, but these views does not necessarily express Spreaker or the views of Omi's production studio, but Omi's views personally only. These are my views, and I hope you develop yourself a set of views, because some things don't smell right in the pot. And when it doesn't smell right in the pot, you've got to be able to speak up and say when it doesn't. Because we've had a lot of people doing a lot of things through cannibalistic behavior. And when you get that low, that you're functioning like a cannibal, where you have to eat raw meat and food, I tend to question, your likes and dislikes. But I want you to understand that we need this movement. And it's very vital that we should have a movement, because we need to know where we're going in the event that we have to pack up and leave here. A lot of people want to develop a plan of where they're going and what they're going to do in the event that we should have martial law. And they're already they already are shutting the city down, and there's a curfew. So we know that the next thing could be martial law. We could be met with aggression in the community, in the streets. But we always, have that tendency of fear of what can happen to us. But we need to have plans put in place. And we need to know, where are we going in the event that we are told to leave our homes? And what do they have prepared for us? We know that the population control is in effect, and that they have got the government has got to eliminate so many hundreds of people to bring the population status down. So we know that we are going through a population decrease, and lots of people are dying, preferably the elderly. So what are we going to do about it? Remember now, only Black America can help Black America. And we got to step up and find out what we got to do to help ourselves. There just isn't any two ways about it. We've got to stop thinking about fairy book tales, people limiting what they will tell you, only want to tell you fairy book tales out of a school book, but they don't want to tell you what's really going on. So what's really going on, ladies and gentlemen? What's really going on with the 5G? And what's really going on with the so-called dead virus? Can it activate itself? Does it have the power to move through our bodies without the 5G? And once activated, do they know how to stop it? Has anybody went in the laboratory to figure out how to stop it? What is the antidote? What is the cure? Yes, we want to know. And those who are spiritual among us, like African Americans, yes, they're going to claim that they know the solution and answer because they're more spiritual and they're using their mother with to be able to answer these questions. Now, with African Americans being more spiritual, you're going to hear them say a lot of spiritual things about knowing things. It's going to come to us, and we're going to be able to speak truth to power. So you might as well get ready for it. It's going to be the African American that's going to lead us out of this mess, because we have our ears to the ground and our feet to the ground. So we're hearing what Mother Nature has to say about the situation. And believe you me, we're at war, whether you like it or not. Because anytime you pull out the missiles that are represented by 5G, that is nuclear warfare. And you better believe it, because once this chemical goes inside your body, you're poisoned, and you don't walk back into the hospital. You walk off in the sunlight. So we got to know what we're dealing with. And you got a number of African Americans who are not even being called upon to even work their magic to tell you what is happening. Well, I'll tell you, because Ifa knows all inception of disease, where it came from and whence to send it and where to send it. Ifa knows all inception of diseases, why it came, who was it intended to hurt. Now, disease just don't get up and walk across the room by itself. It has to have legs lent to it through the ligand, and the ligand is what activates those viruses to make them actively functioning in a cell. So when people say you caught a virus, no. We all have viruses, dead cells within us from free radical. Every time we breathe that oxygen in the air, every time we breathe from the microwave oven, we're getting oxygens and getting bombarded with different levels of radiation. Radiation is just like fire. You cannot see it, but it is out there in the atmosphere, and you're walking into it every day of your life because high technology is on the scene. But you have to find a way to debrief yourself. How do you debrief yourself and clear the field so that you are free of this radiation poison? And I can't find any other ways to talk about it than what it is. Call it what it is. It's radiation poison. And as you know, when you go into the hospital and get an x-ray, they put an x-ray lab coat over you. And even when you go through to get your body scanned, you're supposed to have some type of lab apron over you. Otherwise, you're exposing yourself to a lot of radiation and you could become blind. So we got our radiation out there. And we're going to try to the Chinese are going to try to use it as if they're the top-notch people in business dealing with the 5G. They're going to get the credit for it, and people will be happy that we brought 5G in. But we're going to be very careful the way we usher in 5G. It is dangerous, and we must know this. But for those of you who are out there in the audience, I would invite you to come in under Blog Talk, those Blog Talk listeners, as well as those YouTube listeners and my Facebook listeners, and now the Spreaker listeners. And there is quite a few listeners on the Spreaker, and I invite you to come in and be a part of this. Now, I'm getting very long-winded here, and I want to let you know that we will be back on again to discuss this very topic again. Thank you so very much. O Double.